Hello, welcome in. My name is Siobhan Shepherd. I hope that you are happy, healthy, and sane today. If you're new to my channel, welcome in. If you are a subscriber, I really appreciate you for subscribing. Really, I do. We're going to talk about lesson 2 of FMLA. Just a little bit of a brief background. I have over 10 years of human resources experience. So I thought I would bring in my frequently asked questions that I encounter on a day-to-day when it comes to leave administration, when it comes to benefits. I figured I would bring it to this platform for people who are curious to know about taking a leave of absence, okay? I could talk about so many things when it comes to a leave of absence, right? I want to start off with 3 types of leave. There's more, okay? Because I just thought about it when I wrote this list down. I was like, well, there's just so much more I can include. Under the Federal Medical Leave Act, these are the 3 that I'm going to talk about, okay? So grab your pen and your pencil, all right, and a piece of paper, right? Because we're going to go over this in detail. Now, the first video I talked about what FMLA means, right? And how you qualify for FMLA, right? 12 months of service, 1,250 hours. It doesn't matter what type of status you work, PRN, part-time, or full-time. That does not matter. What matters is your hours of eligibility, 1,250 hours, 12 months, and you've worked in a 12-month period, okay? So just remember that, all right? Some people believe that if they work part-time, that they're not eligible under the Federal Medical Leave Act. That's not true, all right? Hours worked, 12 months of service with that company, okay? So there's your intermittent leave, there's your reduced work leave, and your consecutive leave. These are the 3 we're gonna talk about. There's also military leave as well. We'll save that for another day. How about that? So, intermittent leave of absence, okay? A lot of people do not know what intermittent is. Intermittent means, it means that I want to work, I can work, I'm medically capable of working, but there are times where I have flare-ups due to my medical condition where I cannot work. Therefore, that's an intermittent leave of absence. Meaning when I have a flare-up, let's just use a migraine for a serious medical condition. I'm experiencing severe migraines, dizziness, nausea, all of those things that come with having migraines, that I cannot function. So during that time, I'm gonna call in for work, okay? Until that migraine passes, right? So that absence would be excused under the Family Medical Leave Act, right? As long as a physician fills out the certification of healthcare provider form correctly, and it outlines the frequency and the duration of best estimates of how many times you possibly may have a flare-up, because we really don't know. We can't predict the future to really know how many times per week or how many times per month you would actually have a flare-up. But the physician has to give best estimates, okay? So that's your intermittent leave request, okay? So you're going to request the intermittent leave of absence in that particular scenario, okay? Reduced work schedule, all right? Let's just say, for instance, I'm experiencing a medical condition and I'm on my feet 12-hour days, right? Something happened now where I'm medically incapacitated to the point where I can only work 8 hours versus the 12 hours. I can only be on my feet for 8 hours a day, if that's what I do every day, depending on the role, right? Or the title, your day-to-day task that you do. You're now working 8 hours for a period of time. That's your reduced work schedule, okay? Consecutive leave. Consecutive means, let's just say, for instance, I'm out of work due to a serious medical condition. We can just use COVID as an example, right? Pneumonia, right? Something severe where you're not going to be able to come to work in the next 2 days. That's a consecutive leave of absence, okay? So your physician, licensed counselor, there's a list of people that could actually fill out the certification of healthcare provider form to justify your time away due to a medical condition in regards to the intermittent work, reduced work, and consecutive leave. Okay, so this is one of my frequently asked questions when people are trying to take a leave of absence. They don't know what an intermittent leave of absence is. They don't know what a reduced work schedule is. And they don't know what consecutive means, right? So I feel like I have to bring this to the forefront. I have to bring this to everyone's attention, right? In the event that you're needing to take a leave of absence, so you're FMLA qualified, right? You should consider taking a leave of absence, intermittent, reduced, or consecutive, especially if you're eligible. FMLA means job protection. It doesn't guarantee pay. It says it on there, unpaid job protection. And I think that's the missing piece of the puzzle that people cannot understand. They believe if they're out due to a medical condition for intermittent, reduced, or consecutive, well, it's different for intermittent because you're going to be working. So you're going to get some form of compensation. You're going to be working because you're working a reduced work schedule. But consecutive leave, you're not working. You're out, right? So there has to be some form of compensation there. Now, under the Family and Medical Leave Act, they're saying that that it's unpaid, right? So let's just use for the state of Georgia, there is not a mandated paid leave in place for residents in the state of Georgia. There are other states that do have them, very few though, okay? So you're gonna have to research your state where you live to see if there's one in place, okay? You would just put your state, is there any paid time off for my medical condition within this particular state? If so, review it, review that site. Contact that number. Ask as many questions as you possibly can. If there isn't one, the only thing you're going to have is paid time off, which is PTO, sick time if your company has it, or vacation time. However your company gives it. Some companies just give strictly vacation time, no PTO. They put everything together. Some companies don't give you sick time. They just allow you just to use all of your vacation time or your PTO as your sick time. But that's all that's available. So you have a lot of people who earn and burn. As soon as they earn PTO or paid time, they use it right away, as opposed to saving some of their time for emergency situations. God forbid you take a continuous or consecutive leave of absence and you have no paid time because you've used all of your time, right? So therefore, it will be no compensation. There will be no pay. So you have to be very, very careful because you don't want to be in a position where you're without pay. Now, we're going to go into short-term disability, long-term disability. That's going to go into my benefits criteria, okay? Benefits, right? So short-term disability is your payroll insurance, right? STD. It's only going to be a certain percentage of the payroll insurance that they're going to pay you if you qualify, right? Typically, it's about 60%. That's the highest I've ever seen it. It could be 50%, right? But we'll go more into detail about short-term disability, long-term disability. We'll also talk about some other benefits like HSA, health savings account, okay? Health savings account is going to be very helpful, and we're going to be talking about investing, okay? Because we're going to talk about investing into the stock market. But you can also invest into your HSA, okay, as well. And also your HSA can help cover hospital bills, things of that nature, visits, out-of-pocket costs, right? when you're taking a consecutive leave, prescriptions, all of those things. So we want to make sure that we're keeping that in mind, right? Because we want to make sure everything is flowing properly. It's coming from your HSA, it's tax-free, and it's paying for a lot of the medical expenses from your consecutive leave, right? As opposed to coming out of money that has already been taxed on. You don't want that. You want it to come out of your HSA. So we have to think ahead, right? God forbid if something was to happen. Now you've taken a consecutive leave. You don't have any paid time, right? And you don't have any payroll insurance for the short-term disability. And you also have not put any money into your HSA, right? So these are the things that we don't want to do. So we want to make sure that we're focused on getting these things funded and we have the proper benefits in place just in case, God forbid, something is going to happen. And sometimes things just do happen. Life does happen. So we want to be prepared for when life happens. So I just wanted to share this with you. Of course, we'll go into more detail on lesson 3. Okay? And I want you to make sure that you have an amazing week. Please give this video a thumbs up. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel because we have a lot more to talk about when it comes to leave of absence, when it comes to investing into the stock market, our finances, getting rid of debt, things of that nature. We're going to be cheering each other on when it comes to getting rid of debt and investing money into our financial future, whether it be the stock market, high yield savings account, things of that nature. So we're just gonna learn and we're gonna grow together. So thank you for your time. I appreciate you. Again, my name is Siobhan and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.